Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Systeme podcast with me, Natasha Pinto. Join us as we discuss all things digital marketing and entrepreneurship. Here, online business owners take us on their journey, how they went from zero to launch. Today, our guest is Eran Bucai. He is a digital marketing consultant and expert website and sales funnel builder. Hi, Eran.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today. We're really excited, and I think let's just dive in. So the first question I like to ask is kind of take us back to where you started. So can you give us a little bit of your history? So where you thought you were headed kind of straight outside of school, and then how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, totally. I got a really random / unusual story on that, actually. I left, I live in Australia, but I'm originally from Israel. And I left Israel when I was 16. I already left school by that stage. So after year 9, I already left school. I didn't go to year 10 at all. I couldn't stand it anymore. If it was legal to leave at like grade 3 or 4, I would have been out of there. Honestly, I would have, but it was not actually legal. So my dad, I already had conversations and he's like, look, legally you have to go. I was like, okay. So I went until it was legal to leave, which was year 9, and I was out of there. So that was 14 years old. And then you go to the military in Israel when you're 18. I didn't want to do that either. And then you go to university, didn't want to do that either. I just didn't want to do any of that stuff. So I moved to Australia when I was 16 on my own, basically. And I did volunteer work here in Australia for 14 years, basically. And that's all I did. So I had no, I just did volunteer work. It was a little bit like, how should I say? It was like working in a monastery, practically, right? Like you're just getting your food and accommodations. You live in like dorms or whatever. Like it's very like communal, and you get little pocket money for the week, for little things, and you volunteer full time, basically. So that's what I did for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
So I never had a proper job per se. I never had employment. So when I finished my volunteer commitments and all that and moved on, I was 30 at that stage. I didn't realize how difficult it is to get a job because I didn't go to high school, remember? So didn't go to high school, no job history, no employment, no rental history, no credit history because of all these factors. So I was like, oh my God, I'm
a ghost. Yeah.
I'm a nobody. I'm a freaking nobody. Like, who are you? So that's how I just was studying online, and I figured I didn't even have any social media accounts. I didn't know anything, right? So I did it was just like nothing. So I had no experience in anything. But that's how I ended up online. Is I just saw an ad that said start an online business and no money down. I was like, oh my God, that's what I need. I need something like that. And I just went down the rabbit hole, basically. So that's how it started. That was early 2017, late 2016, early 2017.
Oh, wow. So you haven't been in the game that long, but you're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So obviously one of the biggest obstacles you faced was starting with zero experience. How do you manage that kind of thing? Because I think a lot of people in online business, they start accidentally, or kind of they need something and they see the ad, they see someone else doing really well, and they're like, yo, I really want to do that as well. I need that kind of success now. And how do you manage not knowing anything? What do you advise?
Yeah. So I've got a really good framework, because even though I've been in the game for 4 years, in my mind, between 2017 until late 2019, it was just not good. Like I made money. I actually did quite well on paper. I made like 6 figures in the first year, which sounds nice, but actually I did not have a business. It was more like an MLM company. It wasn't my business. I didn't grow an email list. I didn't learn how to find my own customers. Things were being fed to me. It wasn't a reliable, real business. And they got closed down, the company I was with. So it just wasn't good, even though I thought I was doing well and on paper it might sound good, it wasn't good. So for the first 2 years, to me, I was running backwards from point zero. I was running backwards, not knowing I'm running backwards. But the point that I figured out how things work, the framework is actually really simple and it works really well for beginners. And it's the perfect way to start for beginners. And to me, if I had that advice when I got started, I would have been 2 years ahead of what I am now. And that framework is really simple. The first step you gotta do is just get a high income skill or a skill that you can exchange. I mean, just think about what we are doing right now. We're doing a podcast, okay? Yeah. After this interview, you're going to need to edit this video. You're going to need to transcribe it. You're going to need to maybe segment it into pieces. You might need to upload it, create a thumbnail, blah, blah, blah. Now, you could do it on your own, but there's a lot of busy entrepreneurs out there who don't have time for that stuff. Yeah. Or they're not really good at that stuff and they rather just do the talking, and they would much rather pay a freelancer to do that stuff for them. Now, you as a freelancer, if you can learn these skills, and these skills are not complicated, you can learn video editing with this easy software to use. You can learn graphic design on Canva. And yes, it's not expertise level. If you put expertise from 0 to 10, yes, it's not a 10, but you can easily get to 1 or 2, and it will actually be good enough. Now, if you start doing that and finding clients doing some sort of freelance gig, so many opportunities. Immediately you get cash flow. Immediately, right? By doing that, you start to build connections, build confidence, build relationships, get some testimonials, get some cash flow, increase some skills, and then you start creating a bit of a circle effect of your network starts to lead to more opportunities leads to more skills lead to more opportunities, more cash flow, more marketing, and it just starts to snowball, right? And the moment I figured that framework, that's when I really things start to take off really, really quickly for me.
That's awesome. And I think, yeah, you're right. There are tons of opportunities. So exactly what you said, I spend the time editing the footage on a video app. I do the same with the audio. I sit on Canva and design a thumbnail, and it's pretty straightforward. And there's like a lot of free videos that you can go and watch that'll teach you how to do this. Totally. Tons of really cheap courses that will do the same. So I think, yeah, find that skill that is exchangeable. Mm-hmm. Great advice. Yeah. Then can you give us a salary comparison? Because you've said in your first year you managed to make 6 figures, but it did feel like you were backwards. Can you kind of give us an idea of what your first month was like to what your last month most recently was like? Yeah,
I can give you exact numbers. I think some people are going to be really keen to know. Yeah. And this is really important. You also understand when people are seeing all those success stories online. I know people who make 6 figures a month, and I make more in net profit than they are. So it's really important to also pay attention to like the net profit and not listen to the hype so much, because the hype is rampant in the online world. So don't buy. It's not easy. You're not quitting your 9-to-5 job to work 2 hours. No, you're quitting your 9-to-5, 40 hours a week to work 80 at first. Okay. So like keep things in perspective. It's not quick. It's not easy. It is simple, but it's consistency, it's hustle and all that. Let's go back to your numbers. So when I got started, because I was in this MLM-ish company, the way their business model worked is you had to pay for the products that you are promoting. And the products were very high ticket. So I borrowed a lot of money to pay for those high tickets. And I paid and also the way you found customers is you would actually pay them for the marketing, and then they would do the marketing and give you the customers, which was great because you are very hands off, but you also meant you're very dependent on them.
Yeah.
And because I was doing well with my conversions, I was making money from it. I didn't realize how dependent I am. I was like, a year and a half went by, they got closed down. And I'm like, I don't even know how to get a customer, which is the most fundamental piece of business.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by I thought I had a business and I didn't, right? So here's the deal. So in the first year, the first month I was doing some coaching for them. I think I probably made about $3,000 right at the gate, pretty much. It escalated quickly to 8, 10, 12. And in the first 14 months with them, I made $145,000, basically. In the first eight months, it was 102,000. First 14 months, it was $145,000. I know those numbers exactly because I was gunning for those numbers. I was like, I want to make 100K in my first year. So I was like 102. I just made it, right? By the time I made 145K, that was June 2018, and the company got closed down by the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, which just regulates consumer whatever. So there was false advertising and stuff like that involved the company, and stuff like that. So I was just
right?
What's that?
And that's stuff that you didn't really have control over. Like you're not the
no control. Yeah. Like I'm just getting the customer and I'm coaching them along and I'm doing their thing and it's fine. Anyway, I didn't even know what the FTC was until they got shut down. I was like, shut down by the FTC. I'm like, what's the FTC? Who are they?
Yeah.
What do they do? Like, I just have I'm this fish out of water. You gotta remember, like I'm 14 years in a bubble working for nonprofit. I didn't have social media when I started online. I like some people, they have maybe a Facebook account for a few years before they start online. I had nothing. I never even opened a Facebook account in the first place. So I no clue. My only experience of the internet period was Gmail to email my family, Skype to Skype with my family, and YouTube to watch YouTube videos. Okay, and chess.com because I like chess. That's the extent of my, that was the extent of my internet experience. But what happened is they got closed down, and remember those high ticket courses that I paid for originally? I didn't finish paying off the debt. So they got closed down. I had no income and I've got 55K in debt. So I started at zero debt and no income. A year and a half later, I made 145K, but I'm in debt of 55K and no income. So I was like, okay. And I work my butt off. Like I'm a bit of a workaholic, not a bit. I'm a workaholic, and I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't party. Like I hustle, right? So I'm like, how the hell do I end up a year and a half later in 55K debt? That just makes no sense. Like you can easily take the blame and be like, oh, I must have done something wrong. No, mate, I freaking worked my butt off. I should not be in this position. So I was like, there's something seriously wrong with this picture. Anyway, because of the experience I now had, I had a friend that helped me get a 9-to-5 job. So I did that. I got a 9-to-5 job and I side hustled for 8 months. I quit the 9-to-5 job. I was making a salary for the first time because I had never made a salary. And in my side hustle, I was doing various things, trying affiliate marketing, trying freelancing, trying coaching, infra products, whatever. It was only until, and this was June 2018 until February, March 2019. That's when I quit the job. In that time, I probably managed to get my side hustle to about $1,000 a month, maybe $2,000 a month in that time period. It wasn't stable. I quit the job and I made probably about 5-6K in the first month, maybe even 8K, but then it really slowed down and I really struggled in the ensuing months. I did have I saved a little bit of money. So I had a few months breather, but it was just enough to survive on, like really barely. As of August 2019, I got my tax refund, because I quit the job early. And honestly, like that week, I mean, I had no money for rent. The day arrived when I was supposed to pay rent, I was short $100 on my rent. I had no money, credit maxed. I was screwed, basically. Yeah. But I got my tax refund, which gave me an extra 2 months of a breather. And in that 2 months is when I figured out the freelancing, the framework I told you, get a high income skill, blah, blah, blah. I figured that out with websites. I learned how to do Shopify at the time. I don't do Shopify anymore, but I learned how to do Shopify. It was really good. And I'll give, like, people are beginners listening to this, I'm going to tell you a really practical tip on how to close your first client. That's what I did. It was really good. So the person said, I'm looking for someone to build a Shopify store. I said, great. I says, look, I don't know anybody, but I learned how to do my own. I've been practicing myself. I could probably do it. He says, how much do you charge? I said, to be honest, I've never done it before. I don't know what the market charges and so on, do you have a specific budget you want to accommodate for? So I can accommodate for that, right? Because I'm easy. And he said $200. I said, done. I'll take $200. And he paid me $200, and that's what I did the website for. And that's cool. The other thing that I did to close another client is I said, I've done it since. I said, look, how about we do this? I'll just do the project. When it's done, you pay me what you feel it's worth for you, right? I did that with another client. They paid me $1,500 by the end of the project.
Wow.
Right? So that's another great way where you can actually get paid really what you're worth without charging anything up front. And also, when you're closing the deal, realize who's going to say no to that? You have no objection.
Yeah.
Because if you do a crap job, they have no risk.
Yep.
So telling them, look, I charge $1,000, but because it's my first project, I'm more focused on doing a great job. So if you want, I'll just do a great job. You pay me what you feel it's worth at the end. And that's what I did. And the lady paid me $1,500. I almost fell off my chair when she did that, right? So it's a really good strategy to also, because, you know, when you're just getting started, the confidence is very like, it's not that your confidence is low, but you just don't have the confidence to, like, you've never done it before. You don't know. So that's a really important point, to know how to close that first deal. I think that's a major deal I wanted to share that. So these are the numbers. So that's October 2019. By June 2020, I paid off all my debts, the 55K.
Yeah.
And I was living off passive income. Now, the living off passive income, let me explain what that actually means. There is different types of income. There's the passive income, which you don't have to get out of bed in the morning for.
Yeah.
Practically. Okay. That income does actually exist. For me, it's, for example, affiliate marketing of software products. For example, I love Systeme, right? I love affiliate programs like Systeme. I love them. Like, it's just great because they pay, like yours pays 40% commission, which means that I can build somebody's website. They can pay me $500 up front. In fact, I did a project today. I'd spent 3 hours. I built their website, landing page, thank you page, connected the domain, connected their email marketing, set everything up, did it all. They paid me $550 for the 3 hours of work, and they sign up using my affiliate link. So now I'm making also $10 a month, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the beauty. If you were to just do numbers, straight numbers, I've got my calculator out. Let's say you need to live on $3,000 a month, and you are living off your rent, your food, your business expenses, all of that, okay? Which $3,000 for most people, that should be enough unless they're really extravagant, depending on where you're in the world, obviously. Yeah. Some people, this is actually really good. Like South Africa, it's actually like way more than
it is
what you need. You know, if you're in New York, well, that's a different story. So depending on what the numbers are, figure out your numbers. Now, let's say you do something with Systeme, $10 per customer, right? If you get, and that's not a lot, obviously, but let's say you get 50 customers, that's $500 US, passive.
Yeah.
Okay. That means you get one customer per week. That's all you need. So the numbers are really in your favor. And if you are consistent over, let's say, 5 years, obviously you'll get better, but one customer per week for 5 years, you're making $2.5 grand. And that's being like really conservative, because you should get more than one client. And some people will go on the higher plan of Systeme. It's not $10 a month. It's actually going to be the 47 or the 97. So the numbers stack up as well. And then if you're smart about it, you'll figure out other little avenues for their income. So, and that's where the numbers, like I went from October 2019 to June 2018 to 20, my passive income at that stage was about 2,600 passive income by that stage. And I needed roughly 2 grand, maybe 2.5 by that stage. So that's what I mean by I live off passive income. As of today, it's a different, like I make it's about 10K a month approximately.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. And it's cumulative. Yeah. So every month that goes by, the more clients that you get.
Just keeps growing.
Exactly.
Just keeps growing.
Do you think that it's like a really good idea? So for other website builders and sales funnel builders, do you think using these affiliate programs with software is like the ticket to that.
Best freaking business.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it because I don't want the competition, but it is the best freaking business.
Oh, you've got the experience. I think you're still good.
Yeah. Let's put it that way, right? Like, I know, like if somebody listens to this, they're like, oh my God, I want to use Systeme and I want to make this a real business. Mate, I'll get the formula for you, like 6, 12, 24 months. I mean, I can take you under my wing. You'll be like, it is probably one of the easiest, not easiest. I hate to say the word easy because nothing is easy. It's one of the simplest and surest business models you can do, because Systeme has a really solid subscriber base, which is really important when you understand software companies. A software company that does well has a solid subscription base, and they're going to stay for a long time. So, you know, you got your competitors, they're solid because they've got a strong subscription model. You've got companies like AppSumo, which promote a lot of lifetime deals. It's great for us consumers because we get really good deals, but those companies are going to struggle, a lot of them. Like, you don't know, you really don't know which ones are going to last. Whereas you got a company like Systeme, well, they've got, you know, I don't know if I can say the number. I know the number from what I was told, but it's a solid customer base. So you know that it's good, right? So to build a business upon that, it's a really good strategy. Yeah. And also the trick is, okay, where do you find the customers? How do you close your first deal? How do you find the right niche? Because not every website is the same, right? Like, what type of websites are you going to specialize in? Webinar funnels, application funnels, lead generation funnels? Are you going to do summit funnels? Are you going to do book funnels? You know, are you going to work on blogs? What, you know, are you going to do templates? There's so many avenues. That's where beginners, like, I can give you all these tips, but even if I give you these tips, people are going to be like, well, which way do I start? They're going to go too broad. They're building websites. Terrible way to go.
All right. So then definitely like narrow it down and pick your niche. And then on website building, obviously when you're building people's websites and sales funnels, sometimes you're going to have to rebuild what already exists. So what is one of the biggest mistakes that you see with sales funnels? Like, what is the biggest issue that you see with people who've built theirs and now you're brought in to come and fix it and make it better? What's the biggest issue?
There's homework that has to be done before building a website. To build a website, I can build a website like I did one today in 3 hours. That website should have taken me an hour, right? But we did all the copy as well during that session. So there's a lot of preparation that needs to go in before you build a website. And if you've got the framework for how to build a website, there's a very specific framework, which I've got, like I got an exact formula, steps, all that I follow. One of the reasons I bought Systeme as well is because you have unlimited domains from the higher plans. So I bought different domains for different things. So one of them is website DIY course, because I know people need to learn how to DIY their own website.
Yeah.
And instead of me doing a done for you or done with you, I can show, okay, step by step, here's the framework. And somebody who wants to do what I do, like funnel building and stuff like that, they could go through the same course and be like, okay, yeah, I can use that with my clients. No sweat, right? So, which is one of the things I liked about Systeme is because of the domains as well. But that particular framework, doing that framework initially, and I've got templates for all that, but doing that initially is what makes the website building process really easy. Because the website building, that's not, you know, the thing is, if you're trying to build and you don't have clarity, that's when you waste a lot of time and you're like jumping from one thing to the next, and it's just painful, right? Like, people spend months building a crap website, you know?
Okay. And then to like carry on with that, so can you comment on a statistic for me? It's quite a common one that most copywriters spend about half their time just working on the headlines for their funnel pages. So are the headlines really so important that it should take you quite so long? What do you think?
I don't think it should take that long personally, because you don't know, like, you can spend a half a day figuring out a headline. You don't even know if that headline is going to work. You want to put something out there and test it first. Like, you're not going to come up with, and especially if you're just getting started, you're DIY, you've got no freaking clue what you're doing anyway. So why pretend like you know what you're doing? Because you don't know what you're doing. You know, you know, we always get better. You know, I was looking, it was so funny. I was saying, I got an email from my brother's a website. He's a developer, coder, blah, blah, blah. So he helped me with my first website. He just sent me an email a couple of days ago. We had such a laugh because he sent me the very first email I sent him about my website. And I said to him, please build my website. And I wrote the copy of what I want. And I put the pages in the menu. Oh my God, it was so bad. I mean, it was so bad. I mean, I reread it and I was just like, oh my God, I'm just glad that I'm not sharing it with anybody because that is just, it is so bad. So don't even, like, you're just getting started. Look, you're going to suck. It's okay. Don't even worry about it. Next time you'll suck less, and then you'll suck less and you'll suck less until you're actually good. So, you know, I just wouldn't worry about it too much. I definitely think you can write it, create it, give it to 5 people, post it in the Facebook group and say, hey, I just created this sales page. Could somebody just have a read, give me a fresh pair of eyes? And you'll get 5 people who are going to bash you and tell you how it's good or how it's bad. So don't try to complicate it on your own because you're going to have a really hard time. It's better to brainstorm it. And there's plenty of people on Facebook groups who will more than happily review your stuff and give you feedback for free. You don't even need a coach. Just get somebody who will give you fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah, definitely. And there's, like you said, lots of those Facebook groups. So then maybe the best advice for people starting out is join a Facebook group, like-minded people who are also starting businesses just like you. Send them stuff, kind of exchange those skills, and yeah, you can even probably get your first clients there.
That's right.
Now, a question.
Is the headline important? Don't get me wrong, it's very important because nobody will read the rest if the headline is not important. I'm just saying, don't overcomplicate this. Just get started and then you'll figure it out as you go.
I think, yeah, you're right. Lots of people kind of get stuck before they even started because they're overthinking something, where really if you put something out there and then you can test it and improve it, then it works better.
Yeah.
Now, a question from our audience, one of the things that they ask quite a lot is about traffic sources. So what do you think? Which are the best channels? Paid and unpaid?
I'm an unpaid person. It depends on who you talk to. You're going to talk to some people who are paid gurus and they're going to say paid traffic all day, every day.
Well,
you're going to get mixed. You're going to get mixed opinions. That's just, there's no two ways about it. There is a very specific reason why I say unpaid at first, is because think of paid as fuel. You're amplifying, you're pouring fuel onto the fire. If there's no fire, it doesn't matter how much fuel you're putting in, nothing's going to happen. What I mean by that is, remember that shitty sales letter, excuse my language, that crappy sales letter and the crappy headline that you had at the beginning because you're DIYing it? Well, that's why you don't want to pour money on paid ads, because it will suck at the beginning. And even if it doesn't totally suck, it's not going to be great. So that's why it's really important, I think, to just test out the organic first. And also because, you know, when people are the copywriting, the secret to me, I know there's a lot of templates going around and people using templates. I'm not a huge fan of all that stuff because to me, the copy is in your ideal customers' minds. So if you just focus on talking to your customers and actually paying attention and listening and taking notes, your copy will form itself, basically. And I think that's the key to copy. So that's why I mean, like the organic, just get into conversations with people and let it kind of build up. And then when the right time, you can do paid ads. You can do paid ads at the beginning just to get people there and get traction and get people to subscribe to your list. That's fine. But to do paid ads and really turn it into like the, you know, when you turn it on and you put $1 in and $2 out or $5 out.
Yeah.
That's an advanced strategy. That's not a beginner friendly strategy. It's just, I don't know how many people are really going to disagree with that. Even the paid gurus, they're going to probably tell you the same thing. They're doing tremendous amount of A/B testing, split testing. When you're in a beginner, you just have a win that you got a page up, let alone split testing multiple headlines. Like,
especially,
you know,
got such a small audience. I mean, even then, if you are split testing, what is that telling you? If you've got only 100 people you're split testing against, what do those
Exactly.
actually mean?
Exactly.
Right.
You need a real budget to split test even to make it worth your while. And in the beginning, you don't have that budget. Most people don't. I know I didn't.
Yeah, because you
So
set
to
it up
me,
just because you needed something that needed nothing.
that's right. So to me, organic all day, absolutely. Specifically Facebook groups. That's where I would go to Facebook groups where your client target audience hang out, mostly, unless you're doing B2B and LinkedIn, fine. There is really one overriding rule to client acquisition and traffic source.
Yeah.
Whether it's organic, paid, and all that, the secret goes under one simple phrase, and that is get in front of other people's audiences.
Okay. So how do you get yourself in front of other people's audiences? Because are you aiming to kind of put yourself in front of their audience and see if any of your ideal customers exist in that audience? What are you looking for there?
Yeah, so traffic doesn't need to be created. It just needs to be channeled. The traffic is there. Traffic is people. It's eyeballs. The people have been born already. They already have interests. They already follow social media. They already follow their favorite pages, watch their favorite TV shows, YouTube videos, listen to favorite podcasts, all that stuff. So whoever your ideal customer, they're already following any of that. Your job is to network, to get in front of those, whether it's the podcaster. Now, obviously, you're not going to get on Jeff Walker's guest blog when you're a nobody. So it is a slow grind, but you just got to start from somewhere and build those connections, build those relationships, be a nice person, be friendly, be contributive, don't be salesy. You know, there's a lot that goes to, like, the more genuine you are, the more caring you are, the more consistent you are, the more friendly you are, the more willing you are to put yourself out there, the easier it's going to come to you, you know, which is why, you know, somebody who's a lurker, somebody who's more of an introvert, they might struggle a little bit with that. And I get it, you know what I mean? But don't compare yourself to somebody who's a bit more full on. Just compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Because if you can just do a little bit better, if you can just 1% every day, just a little bit better every day, be a little bit, or every week even, you know. I mean, it's simple. Like, let's put it that way. If you were to just send a meaningful email or a meaningful message on Messenger or whatever to, let's say, 3 different people at the beginning of the day, every day for an entire year, that's 1,000 people you reached. How many of those do you think will respond? Doesn't matter really, but
even if it's like 10% of those people, it's still 100 people who've responded to you.
You got it. That's right. So it's consistency.
Okay, and then let's talk a little bit more about affiliate marketing. So it is a niche that's seriously growing, but can you define it? Because I think affiliate marketing, like you mentioned before, there's a lot of noise and it sometimes comes across as quite scammy. So
yes,
define it for our audience and then kind of how to approach it without becoming one of those scammier affiliate marketers.
Yeah. The thing about it is that I know I can go and do affiliate marketing in the traditional way. I could do it and I can make pretty quick money. Quote unquote. I can get a lot of free signups to System. Like, it's easy to get, like, System's got a great program. So I can get a lot of free signups really easy, but I'm not going to get the paid signups that are going to remain with the company because they understand the value. So I rather take the slow and steady approach as opposed to just spamming my list saying, create a free account. You know, like, that's what most affiliate marketers do. They're like, create a free account, this is amazing. No, mate, you're just being hypey and you're being salesy and you're not building trust and you're not building a brand. So, and that's a mistake that I think a lot of people, when are thinking affiliate marketing, they're thinking quick cash, and it's not quick. It's not going to give you the retention. People aren't going to stay with what you recommend. So I prefer to take the slow and steady approach and build it up that way. So in my mind, I'm thinking If I can get one paying customer for Systeme every week or two paying customers every week, let's just say I get two, right?
Yeah.
You do the math on that. That's freaking great money. I'll make an extra
All over.
1,500 US. I'll make an extra $1,500 by the end of the year US with people that I've personally spoken to on Zoom. They know how to use the software. They got their landing pages set up.
Yeah.
Like that's what's so funny. Like if you were to do it that way legitimately, and you were to do it for 5 years, you're making 6 figures a year, passive, like completely passive, while making, let's say, $300 per website, even if it's that, and that's cheap. That's really cheap. Even if it's that low, you're making cash flow, right? So, and this is where you got to get really good with numbers as well. Like, let's just do numbers, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're making $20 per customer. That's average, $20 per customer of Systeme, and you want to make 100K a year. Divide 100K by $20 per customer. You need 5,000 customers. But remember that you only need 5,000 customers is $20 per month. 5,000 divided by 12, 460. You need 420 customers.
Yeah.
On Systeme.
That's
right?
not unachievable.
It's not unachievable. If you do that, if you work with Systeme for 4 years, 5 years, right? It's divided by 5 years. That's, 80 customers per year.
Yeah.
That's achievable, right? Now, if you do the numbers on that 416, let's just pretend that you make an average of $400 per website, right? That's $166,000 in a period of 4 years. It's 40K a year, 50K a year. So you'll make conservative income, 40K a year. It's nothing great, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are in the world, it might be really good.
Yeah.
In other areas, it's okay. 40K a year for 4 years, 5 years. But by the time that time's done, you also got 6-figure recurring.
Yeah.
The numbers are so in your favor in this business. It is crazy.
Especially if you use that model where affiliate marketing and that passive income actually feeds into your main hustle.
That's right.
And because you're able to do this from pretty much anywhere, you have the geographic freedom, then you can go and live somewhere where that 40K a year is more than enough to support you, especially
more than enough.
The beginning. And then, yeah, there's literally no reason not to go into this.
That's right. That's right. But what's gonna happen is you'll start and you'll be like, my gosh, it's a lot harder than I thought. Yeah. He made it sound so easy.
But I think they forget.
No, it's not easy. It's freaking hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work, but it's
freaking hard work.
So it's a great forward, but you've got to understand, like, it is still 5 years. You're not playing the short game. You're playing this long game.
That's right.
You're aiming for something in the distance. I think, yeah, if you're willing to put in effort, especially in the beginning, and kind of slog through the first couple months where it is hard anyway, then why not? This is definitely something that's achievable.
6 to 12 months of a slog.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
But it's okay. That's part of the game. That's why, like, I'm sharing all these secrets. Like, I'm giving away all my secrets. I could charge somebody fucking $2,000 for a coaching session, for coaching program on this. I don't do high.
Still come right to you looking for more, because much as this is a great platform to kind of like listen and find out these things, they still want the hands-on approach, I think.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
And then let's talk a little bit about YouTube and digging into social media. So when you started, social media wasn't something that you used, didn't know about it. What do you suggest for people starting out on social media? So obviously you've got to find where your audience is, which platform do they hang out on, how and why. But then obviously there's also this really big trend for lots of video content. It's being favored by almost every single platform. So what's your advice for a newbie?
I do think that it is valuable to open a YouTube account, a Facebook account, a podcast. I do think you should do that. I don't think you should do them all, but I do think you should open up those different platforms and set up your profile, optimize your profile. So in case somebody is looking for you, they see, and then you put the link to your landing page.
Okay.
And to build your list, to get them to where you want them to go. So even if, like, I'm not on LinkedIn much at all, but if somebody finds you on LinkedIn or Twitter, which I'm not on much at all, at least they see who I am, what I do, and they can, if they're interested, they can go there. So I think that's important. It's also good for an SEO strategy, because if somebody then Googles your name or whatever, or then it will more likely to come up on those platforms. So from an SEO perspective, it's good to have that fundamental basics. It's good if people find you there because you don't know where your customers are. And also between YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what do you call it? Clubhouse, all these, they have different styles. And it doesn't matter so much which one you pick. It's more like, where's your customer hanging out and how comfortable you are there as well. Yeah. Number one. So, you know, you could start with blogging. I mean, I did blogging, I did Instagram, I did YouTube. I did a little bit of TikTok, and I just was like, this is just not for me. You know, Clubhouse, I couldn't stand it. So, you know, like I picked up pretty quick, like not interested, not interested. Instagram, I went super hardcore, but it was just not good on the ROI, so it wasn't worth it. Facebook groups is great. Where I got really the breakthrough is Facebook groups. Now I have my own Facebook group as well, but Facebook groups, other people's Facebook groups is where you should go. And I'm starting to get traction. I'm starting to find customers on YouTube, basically. And I really like YouTube as well. I really like, to me, Facebook is great. Like if I need cash flow today, if I need to go find a customer today, I'm going to go Facebook. If I want to build long-term passive of traffic, YouTube is the best. That's for me personally, right? Yeah. But YouTube, but you see, that's where it comes, that variables. If your video editing is average, no one's going to watch your videos. If you don't know how to do SEO, no one will even find your videos in the first place. So all of a sudden, there is these extra skills you didn't even know you needed to have. And if you're going to try and create videos for YouTube without figuring out and getting obsessed with those skills, don't even bother. Total waste of your time. So that's where, you know, easier said than done. Yeah. But you got to pick one that you're going to get really excited about, which is also why I like the, you know, with the framework about finding a skill. Yeah. You're going to need to get those skills to do those strategies. YouTube, like video editing. Well, let me tell you, if you're going to learn video editing, you might as well get paid for it up front by editing a video for someone else, rather than thinking you're going to build a YouTube channel, because let me tell you, you're going to be learning video editing for the next year and make $0 on YouTube if you think that your video editing skill is going to pay you. No, a client is going to pay you for learning, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
That's why I'm very strong on the freelance route, because you're going to need those skills anyway to do anything else. Even if you decide to do drop shipping or Amazon, any of that stuff, you're going to need to learn SEO. You're going to need to do paid ads. You're going to need to know optimizing of a website, funnel, checkout, upsells, downsell. You're not going to learn any of that and get paid at the same time unless you work with a client. So you might as well work with a client as a freelancer, up level your skills, and then transition and reuse your skills elsewhere.
Okay, definitely. And then what does the future look like for you? So do you have a medium term or a long-term goal that you're looking forward to?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, I just bought an apartment, so pretty happy about that. Yeah. I'll show. This is a totally new place. Yeah. I've got, and then it looks so like fake guru bullshit, but this is an actual pool outside. No, but it's a nice place. It's really good. I just bought the apartment, so considering, you know, I've only been like working for 4 years, and the first 2 years were a disaster. You know, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's number one. Even though I've got a mortgage, I hate having a mortgage. So even though it's an asset, I absolutely hate that. So I definitely want to pay that off quickly and get into more investment properties as well. But I'm more focused on what I'm good at, which is the funnels, the websites, and like the framework that I discussed. I know there's a lot of people who probably want to do what I do or similar to that. So I'm really focused on creating a system that I can show people how to do that, but not necessarily show them. Like, I'm not trying to just make money from teaching. I want to more like the one-on-one clients that I help build landing pages and funnels. I want to create the systems that they could DIY, or that I could help 10 people build a website at the same time as opposed to one. Yeah. So I'm working on that transition. Basically, also have a tech support membership, so that's growing. I've got over 100 members in my membership. So so just growing multiple income streams and testing, always testing. I just launched a new website with Systeme. Really good niche. This is just a little test I was doing. I'll tell you about it. It's called customintrovideos.com. And the whole idea, this is where niching is really good. I have a friend who's in a very similar background to me. And I said to him, I says, if I had the advice that I have that I know what I know now, and I was in your shoes, this is what I would do. So I told him what I would do. And he likes video editing. I says, great, let's do video editing. I said, instead of being a video editor, let's make you the freaking #1 guy for custom intro videos. You know, those 10 seconds intro videos, the beginning of a YouTube channel? Let's do that and nothing else. So we created a website, it's on Systeme, customintrovideos.com. That's the website. We sold four already. And we're selling $200 each, basically, for custom intro videos. And yeah, he's making money. He's like, oh my God, people are paying for this. This is amazing, So it's really good because I wish I had that advice. So we're doing a partnership on that. So I'm always testing because that's a really good business for me because I get the audience. I don't want to spend the time building those videos. He knows how to do it now. Yeah. So I'm like, traffic to him, 50-50. It's leverage, leverage of my time because I don't do the work. I just make my 50% cut, basically. So I'm always testing stuff. That's what I see. And what the breakthrough will bring to break the 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure, I don't know what that will be exactly. All I know is as long as I'm consistent, testing, practicing, trying, hustling, outworking everybody else, that's my aim. And helping a lot of people at the end of the day. That's really my goal.
Definitely. And then in closing, some short questions. So is there one book or podcast or resource that you could recommend to our listeners? So anyone just starting out. There we go. Expert Secrets, Richard Branson.
Expert Secrets, .com Secrets, Traffic Secrets. I know ClickFunnels is a competitor to Systeme. And I'm not a ClickFunnels user. Systeme, in my opinion, is a better software than ClickFunnels, like genuinely. ClickFunnels is coming out with ClickFunnels 2.0. Maybe they'll be better, but you cannot beat Systeme's price as well. Yeah. So for beginners, it's perfect. But the books are the framework that you're going to need to learn to do work with Systeme anyway in any business. So no question, just get those free books. Honestly, like I don't want to name names. I'm doing some other high ticket courses at the moment, 2K course. Right, these books are just as good, if not better, honestly.
And they are. That's information because you can apply it to anything else, right?
Totally. These books are just as good as the $2,000 courses I've paid for recently, and they're good courses. I mean, I'm not complaining about the courses; they're fine. What you get in these books is freaking gold, absolute gold, like hands down. No, yeah.
All right, and then. Do you have any advice I'm going to ask that you would give to your 16-year-old self? Because that's when you...
My 16-year-old?
Yeah. What advice do you have for your 16-year-old self?
Exactly the same advice I gave about the framework of the skill.
Yeah.
Because if I do that at 16, by 20, I'm fully retired with 6-figure income passive a year.
Yeah.
At 20 years old.
Imagine.
Like, if I have kids... Mate, I'd have them start work at 10 years old when they're geeks before they have time to get into computer games, I mean, they'll be buying their own houses by the time they're 14 if they're smart about it, you
And there
know?
are stories of people who've done that, who've kind of come up with a skill, this thing that they do completely different or really, really well. And they're buying houses for their parents.
Totally. If I was like a young kid again, like this day and age, I would either learn programming / coding or the website funnel design, or I would get really good with video creation, not editing, creation, like visual effects, special effects, all that stuff, like like Real Pro, you know, the stuff that's like movies and just like really animated stuff, or graphic design. These are the skills I would go: video creation, graphics / website / coding. I'll be around that territory. Just pick one of them. I mean, you can't, unless you're a gambler with your money and you're undisciplined, you literally cannot not get well off, or at least comfortable. You just can't, unless you really are an idiot, basically, with your money, you know?
And then our last question, where can our listeners find you? I will put all of your tags in our description.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, obviously always people want to send people to their funnel. You could just Google my name, you know, like just do your research, you know what I mean? Like I'm pretty hardcore. Like you can find me on Google. Let me tell you, like just type Eran Bucai, you'll find me. If you want to connect with me, just definitely like just go to my Facebook group. That's probably the best way. .com truths group. That's my Facebook group. And I've got an automation set up where when you enter your email address, you get a free course where I teach the frameworks that I just told you all about. I've got a free mini course. It's called Starting an Online Business Mini Course. And it teaches you all that framework. Plus, you know, you're on my list, and then you'll see what, because depending on when you're listening to this or watching this, I might be working on something a little bit different. So that's probably the best way. It's just a Facebook group. And then I actually send a welcome message on Messenger personally to every person that joins, so we can have a chat. And I tend to get on a Zoom call with anybody that wants to get on a Zoom call one time, no more. Don't waste my time. But I'll do a free consult with pretty much anybody that needs help with something, and get them on the right track and so on. So, and I've got no high ticket coaching programs. I got no high ticket courses. I'm a low ticket guy. I've got only low ticket stuff, basically. Okay. So, you know, I've got nothing crazy to sell anybody. Like, it's just straight help. And I know my numbers. So to me, it's just like, it just grows and grows and grows. And the numbers are in my favor. I know the numbers are in my favor with the low ticket anyway. So yeah,
definitely more people are going to opt in anyway. All right. Eran, thank you so much for joining me and for giving me your time. And thank you to our listeners today. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. If you're listening to this on a podcasting app, subscribe to the Systeme podcast so that you never miss an episode. Systeme.io is a digital marketing software platform packed with all the tools you need to grow your online business. Thank you so much. That was fantastic.